the first epistle of John, chapter 1. The record which the Apostle John gave to the church, okay, and this is identifying Jesus Christ as that record. The record was established in the bosom of the Father and came into this dimension. And coming into this dimension, Jesus Christ shared with his apostles there, guarding and unfolding this plan, okay, which we show unto you that eternal life. About the word fellowship, which has to do with equal exchange. Through this exchange, okay, a fellowship, also a relationship begins to develop. A relationship where it comes trust. Things become more imminent regarding the powers, tasting, the powers that will come. Also, our understanding becomes more defined. Okay, our understanding of the kingdom of God becomes more defined. Understanding what the fear of the Lord is, because the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Okay, and it teaches us that apart from His graciousness, there is absolutely no advancement. Apart from the graciousness of God, you don't stand a chance to survive. Just like in outer space, without an air tank, you don't stand a chance to survive. Okay, or diving beneath the water, you'd be starved of air, and of course you die. So again, fellowship has to do with an equal exchange. Now, it's through this equal exchange, the relationship is defining itself. Our relationship with God begins to define itself. It begins at the altar, but that's not where it stays. Okay, it's the same thing when you purchase a house. There's more involving with that, okay, than just a room. As you continually wait at the altar, your fellowship is being defined, your relationship is being defined, okay, with the Father and with the Son, Jesus Christ. And as these things are being defined by this tether, okay, we talked about the tether yesterday. We talked about that. Okay, a tether is something, okay, which could be anything that's binding two elements, two bodies together. Okay, this is your tether. Okay, your tether is grace, and by this tether of grace, okay, we are being bound to the Father. By this tether of grace, we're being bound to Him. Okay, and we can see the symbolism of that in the first covenant, whereas the Levites would take a phylactery and bind it on their arm. And binding it on their arm like that, okay, it has to do with being tethered to the altar. Okay, so now we are a prisoner of Jesus Christ. And we're no longer bound to the altar of Moses, we were bound to the altar of Christ as a prisoner. Okay? By this grace, we are His prisoner. Okay, without this grace, we are adrift. We talked about the joy. These things write we unto you, that joy may be full. Okay, which has to do with a capacity that overflows. Okay, and this is what the psalmist wrote about. Okay, my cup runneth over. My cup runneth over. Okay, an overflow. Okay, an overflow. You are full. There's no more room to put any kind of substance there, so we have to increase the volume, or increase the parameters to increase the volume. That's what God does with our soul. As the psalmist said, Lord, show me the way wherein I shall run. Enlarge my heart, okay, that I can run in a way of righteousness. Enlarging of the heart. So God increases the capacity to increase the volume. Increases the capacity to increase the volume. Okay, and so grace is upon Him without measure. Of course, it's God. Grace is upon Him without measure, and grace upon grace. Okay? So we are following, this pattern. Increasing the capacity, increasing the volume, increasing the grace. Grace upon grace, grace upon grace, grace upon grace. So we're building like a tower. Okay, but we're not building a construction of stone and wood. Okay, we're building this construction is that which is made without hands. Okay, made without hands, which has to do with the spiritual nature. So by these tokens, by these tools, and as you utilize these, which means you're using them, you are increasing the volume, your capacity and volume, okay, of grace, so that God's grace will abound towards you, and on that scale, that shows that you're a healthy Christian. Okay, regardless of the state of your frailty, but you're healthy spiritually. So therefore, your joy may be full. And this is what we're preaching. This is the gospel we're preaching. Second Eighth Week is preaching this gospel. We're making a declaration concerning this word in this letter. Okay, we're making a declaration that it's only Him that can save you. Tradition can't save you. Neither can stone can't save you. Wood can't save you. Fire can't save you. Beast can't save you. Neither the shedding of the blood of these animals can save you. Nothing of that covenant can save you, because it was all consumed and it was accompanied with death. It was temporary. Death was with it. So it was subject to time, it was subject to death, it was subject to corruption, it was subject to fire. That's not the contact points that we're using. The contact point which we're using is called the word of life. So all the knowledge which we are embracing right now is now producing substance in our heart. okay, whereas all the knowledge of this world cannot produce that substance. The knowledge of the world will not leave any kind of substance within your heart for faith. I just posted in here yesterday, okay, in Yahoo, okay, where this guy was saying, okay, why is it that I feel dead? I feel dead in myself. I have no feelings. That's what he said. That's what the guy said. He says, I think he said he was like 20-some years old, and he said, I have no feelings of life within me. My reply is because false knowledge will not produce substance in you. It will not produce the substance of life within you. Okay, so all those things which he was resourcing were actually numbing his emotions. Okay, the knowledge of this world numbs your emotions. There's no kind of reciprocating factor within it, whereas the knowledge of God has reciprocating factors. Okay, because there's substances there, it reciprocates. The knowledge of God produces faith, and faith is a reciprocator. Okay, it responds. A corpse does not respond. False knowledge does not respond. Okay, but that's what false knowledge does. False knowledge, okay, it's like it numbs the nerve endings to where when you endeavor to taste, you can't taste. Your tongue can't taste. Your nose can't smell. Your eyes can't really perceive color. There's also people that actually can see sound. But there was a write-up about that in Lifetime books. Okay, and they said sounds take color forms. Color form's not right. Like when a dog barks, it's in black and white. I thought that was kind of interesting. Black and white sound. And this is when people talk, when they're angry, the sounds are coming out different colors. But when they speak like Harmony or Cherry like that, okay, it comes out in beautiful forms of color. And it's a very strange phenomenon. Very few people have that.
I remember there was a movie that came out a few years ago also about the power of words and things, and they did this experiment where they took little bottles of water, sand water, and they stuck words to it. You remember that? And then they took photographs of the water under strong magnification, and the structure looked completely different. But the ones that had like loving, nurturing kind of phrases on it was beautiful. It almost looked like snowflakes and things, like crystals and things. And then they put on one of them something that said like, I hate you, I'm going to kill you, something like that. And it was horrible. The photograph was like all knotted like this in yellowy, browny colors.
And it was dreadful. It was like death.
Death. Right, that's the word for it. Yes. Yeah, death and corruption. So Jesus called the word of life, and so what would be the contradiction of that? Of course, be Satan, which would be knowledge of death. The knowledge which he had, his spiritual flesh is disintegrated, and also the demons. That's why they look skeletal. Okay, we have photographs of that. Okay, why is it the demons have that skeletal appearance? And that's why, because death has been attached to them. That's the virus. That virus, which is attached to them, comes into the souls of those which are outside of covenant, and it does the same thing. It affects their perceptions of life. It affects their soul. It affects their body. Okay, that which we have seen and heard, because the knowledge which Jesus spoke and the things which they were reciprocating with, okay, was producing a substance. And this substance, which is producing, we also can call fellowship. What we have here. Okay, our charity is the substance of our fellowship. So when we're speaking charity one to another, there's a form of exchange going on. Truth and charity. Okay, remember, truth and charity are really one element, okay, but it has two manifestations. Okay, that which truth which sits like a foundation, and charity which arises and is active. Okay, so verse 3 there. That which we have seen and heard declare we unto you. Okay, this is the gospel which we preach in the second week too. Okay, that you also may have fellowship with us. There's the word fellowship. Okay, so if you want to highlight that, the word fellowship has to do with an exchange. An exchange, a communion. Our communion has moved from ingesting something of a carnal nature as bread and beef, okay, and cereals, okay, to that which is of a knowledge only, okay, the knowledge of God. Okay, that which was of that first covenant was consumed. That's why the priest ate it. That which is of this world is consumed. It goes in the mouth and it goes out. And Jesus, of course, made references to that. Okay, that which is consumed goes in the mouth and out. That really doesn't defile the man. Okay, the man is defiled as concerning what he reciprocates with. Okay, and that's why by your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned. Because we're speaking words of life, okay, a fellowship is developed. A fellowship is formed. In exchange. Okay, and this is what Jesus is speaking about. Okay, in Revelations chapter 3. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice, and opens the door, I will come into him and sup with him and he with me. Okay, there's the word fellowship. And sup. The true communion is what this is knowledge. The true communion. The communion of this covenant is in knowledge. Because God is a God of knowledge. And this is one of the things the Apostle Paul brings out in his epistles. Okay, that we're to abound in this knowledge. So abounding in knowledge has to do with we're taking certain forms of words. The word of life. And with these forms of words, a substance is being developed within us. A substance of life. Word of life. This is eternal. That which we have seen and heard declare we unto you, they also may have fellowship with us. And truly, he says the word truly there, that which I vouch for, and it's a vow. Our fellowship was with the Father, that we have a tether now developing here. Okay, a substance, an origin, a tether, okay, a witness. Okay, truly our fellowship is with the Father as our tether, our origin, our witness, that which is living, okay, and with the Son Jesus Christ, okay, being our record, being our pattern. Okay, so we have a tether developing here, and this is called fellowship. An exchange of substance. Okay, an exchange is a substance that's developed through this knowledge, which is life, okay, which is being formed within a soul. As a baby is formed within a womb, this knowledge is now being taking form and image within your soul.